Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how to use 2D arrays in Java. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create a 2D array. So first off, let's just get started by creating a simple integer array by doing the following. So let's do int, and then two brackets right after that, and then the name of your array, so let's call this array, equals. So the first method of creating one of these arrays, I'm going to show you right here, is to create a bracket here, and then the amount of rows you want, you create that many pairs of brackets. So let's say I want a 3 row by 3 column 2D array. So if I want 3 rows, I can do this: 1 row, 2 rows, and 3 rows. So you can see 3 pairs of brackets, 3 rows. And then inside each bracket, I would put 3 numbers for the 3 columns. So I would do, for example, 1, 2, 3. That's the first row. 4, 5, 6. That's the second row. Then 7, 8, 9. That's my final row. So to make it a bit easier to show you guys, I'm gonna format this. So if I move the second row down here and the final row down here, you can see a clear 3 by 3 array of numbers, with each row being one of these brackets, and then each column being the first, second, and third column of numbers. The next method of creating a 2D array is to just specify the number of rows and columns inside the array. So with a normal array, you would specify the amount of objects inside the array, but for a 2D array, you would create the same. So you have int, and then 2 brackets, the name of your array. So I'll call this array1 equals new int. And then inside these brackets, I would specify the row and column of the array. So let's say if I wanted another 3 by 3 array, I would put 3 for the rows here and 3 for the columns here. Alright, so for the final part of this video, I'm going to show you how to input values into an array using this method I've just shown you here. So since we specified the amount of rows and columns of the array, we can actually input these. We could do this where you put array1, then you put 2 brackets here, and then you specify the area you want to input a value. So let's say if I want to put it in 0, 0, and then I can set this to any number. So let's do 1. I could do this, but this takes a really long time to do, especially if you have huge 2D arrays. So, so an easy way to do this is to create a scanner object. So you can use that scanner object to input the values from the user into the array. So I'm going to show you that here by doing scanner scan equals new scanner, and then inside these parentheses we'll put system.in. Okay. Next, I want to specify 3 things. First thing I want to specify is the amount of rows. So I'll just do int rows, set that equal to 0. Columns. So int columns equal to 0. And then finally, I need to take input from the user. So we'll create a third variable called input. So int input, and we'll set that to 0 for now. Okay. So next thing we need to do is that we need to take the input from the user on the number of rows and columns there are. So let's just simply ask the user how many rows they want. So SOUT tab, and then just ask how many rows. Okay. And Now we'll take that input and put it into the rows variable we created here. So we'll do rows equals scan dot next int. Okay, so that's how we'll take input from the user, the number of rows. And we'll do that same thing for the columns, so I'll simply just copy paste this for now. We'll do columns, how many columns, and then we'll set this to columns. So there we go. We have our program asking the user 2 questions on the amount of rows and amount of columns. Next, we'll create our array using these values. So like how I've shown you before, let's create a 2D array. So we'll do int arr equals new int. And inside these two brackets, we'll put rows and columns. So rows and columns. All right. So now we need to take the input from the user. So we'll create a simple nested for loop for that. So for int I equals 0, I is less than rows, and then I plus plus. So now inside our for loop, we'll put another for loop for the columns. So we'll do for int j equals 0, j is less than columns, and j plus plus. So now inside the second for loop, we'll put input, and then we'll set that to whatever the user inputs in. So we'll do scan dot next int, just like that. And now down here, we'll set that input into our array. So we'll do arr, and then inside these two brackets, we'll put in I and j. And then we'll set this equal to our input. All right, and one more thing. Up here, for organization purposes, we'll do SOUT tab. And then we'll put in something like input row number, and then plus, and then we'll just put I plus 1. So every time there's one, it'll do input row 1, input row 2, input row 3, etc. Okay. So now we're done with our program, but in order to show you that it actually works, I will create a simple print loop. So we'll go down here, and since it's pretty similar to the input loop, I'll just copy and paste this for our print loop. So Control V. So this needs to be removed, and these two need to be removed. So now all we need to do is put in our print statement here. So SOUT tab. Make sure you move this LN here, or else it'll ruin the printing. So put ARR, and then we'll simply put I and J here, since those are our variables in our for loops. And down here, for formatting purposes, I'll put another print statement here. This leave this as LN. So I'll just put quotation marks here, leave it blank. So now I can run the program and show you how it works. So first of all, it asks you how many rows. So I said that I'll be doing a 3x3 array, so I'll be doing that. But this can do like thousands of rows and thousands of columns. So you don't need to really worry about the limit on this program. So how many rows? We'll put 3 here, and columns, put 3 again. So input row 1, I'll simply just type 3 numbers for the 3 values in each row. So put 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Before I show you the printing of the array, I want to first show you. It says input row number 1. I did that for a total of 3 rows. There's a second row here, third row here. the first number in each row is the first column, and then same with the second numbers in each row and the third numbers in each row. So now I'll click enter and show you it running. So now as you can see, it printed it pretty nicely here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As you can see, it's the first row, second row, and third row. If you need any help in learning how this program actually works and how this nested loop works, please let me know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.